Let's bring in Major Glenn Ignazio, retired Air Force Special Operations Commander, to help break this down. Major, always good to see you. Welcome back.
Great to see you as well. Thanks, Anna.
Just a few moments ago, the president was in the Oval Office, and he was asked about his relationship with the new Syrian president, Ahmed al-Shara, that the president just hosted last month, and he said that relationship is still solid, it's still fine. But what do you think about this latest attack on American troops? And actually, we have the sound. Can I play that for you very quick, Major?
Sure.
Thank you.
I do. I mean, this had nothing to do with him. This is a part of Syria that they really don't have much control over. And it was a surprise. He feels very badly about it. He's working on it. He's a strong man. And no, this had nothing to do with the Syrian government. This had to do with ISIS.
So reiterating, diplomatic efforts are fine between the two nations. But your opinion, sir?
I don't particularly agree with the statements. Again, to be straight to the facts. So Hayat Tahrir al-Sham or HTS, is the organization that this individual that carried out the attack. He used to be a senior commander there. He then was a junior member of the Syrian security forces. The interesting part is the president used to be and founded HTS. They used to be connected to al-Qaeda and separated from that. So HTS, again, still has the jihadist push and still wants to do that and continue against anti-American sentimentism. So this individual used to belong to that. The difficult part for the Syrian security forces is to be able to vet their individuals. Now, the president being the leader of HTS, this other member being a senior commander in there before, they could have known each other, and that's really the question. So we have, unfortunately, since there's been more work with the Syrian security forces, the U.S. forces have said there's been an increase in some of the attacks against them when it's been very quiet for years. A lot of things that don't seem right about this.
Yeah, it has been quiet for a few years. These are the first U.S. casualties since the fall of dictator Bashar al-Assad. Now, the president's saying he plans to retaliate against ISIS. How do you anticipate that will play out, Major?
Well, they're targeting ISIS, but again, was it ISIS that actually did this attack? Now, ISIS has always been the biggest force in Syria that has been a problem through the entire East. Everybody knows what has happened there. So if there's enclaves, which there are 8, 10,000 or even more, they're going to focus on those particular enclaves and attack them accordingly. So air attacks is the best way to keep, the distance away from them. But if they're in densely populated areas, they're going to have to take different approaches to that. But that's how they're going to target ISIS. But again, they still have to focus about the internal security forces of Syria in itself.
I want to read something that Secretary of War Pete Hegseth said about the person who perpetrated the attack against Americans. He said this, quote, "Killed by partner forces," with Hegseth sending a larger message, quote, "Let it be known, if you target Americans anywhere in the world, you will spend the rest of your brief, anxious life knowing the United States will hunt you, find you, and ruthlessly kill you," end quote. How should other foreign countries interpret Hegseth's messaging? Is this a warning?
Yeah, I think it's a warning, and it's definitely one of those to drive intimidation and factor into those people that are trying to do it. Again, there are people that have perverted many different religions against the United States, but the idea is that this is not going to be we'll let you go and try to deal with it. It's going to be definitely to strike that down. We have to take a look at that across the globe, not just in Syria or the Middle East, but how it approaches things. We're seeing a lot of disturbances in Europe, and we've actually foiled a couple of terrorist attacks here just recently that plan on attacking L.A. in New Year's. So there's a lot of individuals, again, that want to attack Americans, American citizens, and American soldiers. And so we have to prosecute that regardless around the world, and that is definitely taking notice. I appreciate his aggressive approach on it.
Major Glenn Ignazio, I always appreciate you coming on the show and, of course, your expertise on this subject. Thank you, sir.
Thanks. Good to cut through with it all. Thanks, Anna. Take care.
We always appreciate it.